Hi, welcome back to Real Auto Reports. Today we have the real video, the real review on this 2014 GMC Sierra. Now, this is a pretty well outfitted truck, and from our real first impressions, you probably know that, well, it is a pretty new truck. In fact, all new for 2014. So I'm going to jump in the driver's seat here, and we're going to give you all the details you need to know. So let's take off.
Hi, so welcome back. As I said, we are in this 2014 GMC Sierra. This is the SLT, so this is going to be pretty much the top of the range, and we also have the crew cab as part of this. So this is a well outfitted truck, and in this real video, the real review, what we really want to talk about is all the neat features, all the things we've experienced in driving this truck for well over 500 miles and well over a little over a week now. And one of the things is this great navigation screen. You can see the rear backup camera comes up when you put it in reverse. And this truck has a great new interior that I think people are really going to get behind, because it shows, well, as one of my friends said that was in the truck, wow, this really looks European or Japanese. The quality, the fit and finish, much better than we've come to really expect from the American manufacturers. And we're starting to see that from a bunch of brands, but it's nice to see General Motors also getting on board, especially in the truck segment. So what is it about this vehicle that really struck us in this real video, the real review? And I think the interior is really a point of discussion. This interior is really nicely laid out. I think it's the nicest interior that I've seen from them in a long time. I like the center stack. I like how everything's reachable and intelligible. The switches have a nice upper class feeling about them. They don't feel as cheap and oh, I don't know, plasticky and breakable. I mean, yes, they're still plastic, but they're laid out in a nice configuration. You can figure them out. And then you've got things like adjustable pedals and all these toggle switches down here along the center stack that are cool. They flip and they toggle, and even with like the park sensors on this vehicle, they have a light right here in the leading edge. Also for the lane departure assist, there's going to be a light in the leading edge of that switch. I like it a lot. This vehicle, as I said, being the upper end of the range, is going to be, a little over $49,000 as tested. So that is the manufacturer's suggested retail price, the MSRP. You might find them on your lots around your area a little cheaper. Now, the thing is that with that price tag, you're getting a lot of luxury in this truck today. So this is, a half-ton truck. It is a 4-door crew cab. It has good room in the back seat. The back seat room is going to be equivalent to the Dodge Ram, but still a few inches shy of the Ford F-150. And the Ford F-150, rightly said, a friend of mine said to me, oh gosh, the Fords have the most room of almost any of these half-tons. And he is definitely right. The F-150 is going to have your 43 and some inches. This is about 40 and some inches. And, the thing that you might want to compare this to is the Crew Max from the Tundra. But what I'm going to tell you is that this vehicle is going to really outclass the Tundra in terms of fit and finish, the stitching, the contrast stitching in the dashboard, just the touch features, soft touch on all the parts of the door here. This vehicle feels very upscale. And it will even feel that way in some of the lower trim models. So what we have here is, heated and cooled front seats. And indeed, the heated seats are even a multi-stage. So you can heat only the back of the seat, and you can also heat the bottom of the seat and the back at the same time. And you've got 3 levels of heat and 3 levels of cool for the cooling. So that's pretty nice. I also like that this vehicle has the dual climate control. You have your OnStar, of course, and your self-dimming mirror. You also have turn signals in the mirror, and if I stop here and turn that turn signal on, you see it's several LED lights there. It's going to be about 6 LED lights in the mirror. And then you have nice features like the rear backup camera, and front and rear park assist. All very nice features in this truck. In the gauge cluster, I have to tell you, I've really come to like this from the minute I got in the truck. It's well positioned. When you tilt the wheel, you can almost always see the gauges. They have a nice chrome ring around the faces, and all of your what we would have called a rally pack back in the day in the muscle cars is straight across the top. So you have your 2 gauges and 4 gauges across the top, and those 4 gauges are going to be, you know, your battery, your water temp, your gasoline, and your oil pressure. Important gauges for this. But you might be saying, well, what about transmission temperature? This vehicle also has a full color display dead center in the display cluster, and it will let you, with these things on the steering wheel here, these 4 arrows and the check mark in the middle to select OK, it'll let you scroll through these, and if you go left on the menu, it'll pop out another menu that has info, audio, phone, navigation, and settings for the vehicle. Now, this is great because in the info setting, you've got everything from an A and B trip to your fuel range, and then it gives you some other nice features like your oil life, your tire pressures on all 4 corners, your fuel economy, and even your best fuel economy. And this fuel economy gauge is where it will tell you whether you're in 4-cylinder or 8-cylinder mode, because this does have the collapsible valve technology where you go 4-8, and that's a nice feature. It's how it gets its class-leading MPG, but we'll cover that in a bit. You also have a timer. It tells you the speed limits because it's hooked into the nav system, your engine hours, and of course your transmission fluid temperature. And that you also have a digital speedometer, which will really let you keep an eye on your speed in this vehicle. I guess what I'm getting at is that they have done a beautiful job in this GMC Sierra. And if you're going to look at the Chevrolet, at the upper end of the Chevrolet, you're going to find the Silverado has the same kind of accent points. I like the fact that you have garage door openers built up here in the top. You have your LED white light map lights in the front and back. You even have a power sliding rear window, which is really nice so that you can let the flow through come through in the summer. You don't get that buffeting noise, and there's no way I'm going to jump over this console and try to open that back window, and certainly not while I'm driving. So it gives you that flexibility. Now, it's not quite as nice as the Tundra Crew Max, where the whole back window drops like the Toyota 4Runners, and that really is a differentiating feature of those Toyotas. But there are some other nice features that this has, like the built-in trailer brake assembly here and control, so you can access the gain. It comes up in the center display here between the gauges, so you can set your gain, you can watch it, and you can do everything that you would have had to install an external box to do in previous generations of these big trucks. And these are things that even Ford and Dodge are starting to offer as well. You have a Ford four-wheel drive part-time system on this that is an auto mode. Then you can go full-time four-wheel drive low, and then you can go back to only two-wheel drive mode, which is pretty nice as well, because sometimes, especially for fuel economy, if you live in an area where you don't need it switching back and forth, or you want to just make sure you're getting only two-wheel drive, you can switch it to that mode and leave it there, and then move it back to the auto mode when the weather starts to change on you. Also have auto headlights, fog lights, and all of the chrome accents in this vehicle. You also have power fold-in mirrors, which you can see. I love to do that while I drive. So the power fold-in mirrors, and all the chrome accents on this Sierra SLT make this truck have a nice drive-up appeal when you come to a restaurant or something like that. Now, there are some things about this truck that you might want to know about from the nitpicky point of view and from a fuel economy standpoint. So let's cover those next. All right, so from a fuel economy perspective, this truck is getting some class-leading ratings. 16 miles per gallon in the city, 22 out on the highway with the 4.8 technology in this 5.3-liter, 355 horsepower V8 engine. And then, of course, when you're not needing the extra power, it's going to go back to the 4 mode, giving you an 18 mile per gallon combined rating. I think that's actually excellent for this vehicle, given its size and that's a half ton. And you can still carry, they say the max trailering load on this vehicle, given the right packages and everything, is 11,200 pounds. And then you're almost at 2,000 pounds payload with the vehicle outfitted the way it is. So it's about 1,900 and some change. And that's good as well. That means that even though this has a short box on it, you can still carry quite a bit of weight. And this truck is gonna really put the other trucks in this category to the test. I know for a fact, I looked at the F-150 numbers, and the payload and the trailering abilities were not quite as good, unless you opted for the heavy duty option, for the heavy duty payload option. So this GMC Sierra is going to do really well for you. You're going to find that in each category, these vehicles are going to, one Ford's going to do better here. Like I said, the rear leg room is going to be better in the Ford F-150. But this one, you're getting better fuel economy than even the Ford EcoBoost. And you do have a true V8 and all of the torque that derives. And when I look over here at this fact sheet, if we pull over here to the side and we just stop here and we look at the fact sheet they give us, what's impressive about this is that it's a smaller engine than the Ford V8. It 355 horsepower, 383 foot-pounds of torque, 9,600 pound towing capacity with the 3.42 axle, and 11,200. That's that maximum trailering package capacity that I was mentioning before. And so, one of the things that you want to buy a truck that's very capable, but a lot of times today you're buying a truck because it's also going to be your main vehicle. You're not buying a truck like we used to back in the day, where you'd buy a truck and, okay, that truck would be for the heavy duty stuff and the work and whatever. Now you're buying a truck and you might drive it to work every day. You might carry the family around. So you've got these leather perforated seats and the heated and cooled and all of this stuff that is excellent. And it has a nice look. It gives you everything that you need, and you don't actually need to buy another sedan. These trucks over the years have really become the Cadillac of the truck industry. And if you really want a Cadillac, you can buy something like an Escalade ESV and have what is a Suburban or a Yukon type of vehicle and have it in the full size Cadillac full luxury branding. But I tell you what, at $49,000, this is not a cheap truck. It drives well, it shifts well, 6-speed automatic hydromatic transmission with the manual mode in the trailer, the downhill trailering assistance. I think it is a fantastic truck. It's comfortable. People that have ridden in it with me say that it is a nice ride. It looks good. And even my Ford fans that I know have said, wow, this really is changing the game because it is giving Ford a run for its money. And you know what? I don't think you'll ever make a die-hard Ford person change, but this is certainly a vehicle that might make them say, that's interesting, because that's better than I thought it would be. Now, if you want my nitpicky things, of course, those things are going to be that, well, it is expensive. You still do have, that it's getting better mileage than it used to, so that's good, but overall, you're still going to be paying more for fuel. With the fact that you're driving a truck, you have to take that into consideration. I still personally don't like the short box configuration. I would prefer to have an 8-foot bed, even though it makes it less manageable in town. That's a personal preference. Other than that, the only gripe that I really have about this vehicle is that it is so good, is from my perspective, is that it still has a real key. It does have auto start, so you can warm it up in the winter and stuff, and that, or in the summer for that matter, and that's great. But it doesn't have a smart key on it at $49,000, and I just think at today's day and age, that's what we've come to expect in all the high-end cars, and it's made its way all the way down to things like the compact segment. So I would like to see that become a more standard feature on these trucks. memory seats and all of this. And the weirdest option that this vehicle has is, well, this button here next to the 2 on the memory seat setting. It seems to be to let the rear seat passengers out if you had a extended cab, not a crew cab like this. And it's like they're sharing parts, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but see, when you press this button, it does this weird, like, I'm going to crush you thing. See that? Yeah. And, you know, this isn't very helpful. So, in a crew cab, why would you do this, right? Well, anyway, we'll have the real wrap-up coming up next, so stay tuned.
So that's the real video, the real review on this 2014 GMC Sierra. As I mentioned, this is one of the upper end packages and will set you back right about $49,000 as tested. It does have some cool features like the front park assist, the rear park assist, and of course your rear camera. You have, well, the collision warning and lane departure assist, and 20-inch pretty blingy wheels, if you ask me anyway. I think it really makes this truck look high-end, so you can pull up at a nice restaurant or still go out and do a lot of work with it. It's a 4-door with a short box, and, well, it's got all those luxury features inside that we mentioned, like the air-conditioned front seats, the heated front seats, heated steering wheel, navigation, satellite radio, and even a power sliding rear window so that you can, well, get that nasty noise buffeting noise out when you roll your window down. It is a cool truck. I like the redesigned front end. And if you're looking for something higher end in the truck market and still want to stay with an American-made truck, this is definitely one to look at. This is Real Auto Reports right here at Real Auto Ranch. We'll have more reviews for you coming down the road. I'm Jonathan McGrew. We'll see you next time.